You're listening to the Artist King Podcast.
This is DTM of DeltaTangoMike.com, and this is the Artist King Podcast, episode 69. Please take the time to download the Artist King Podcast in your favorite platform and listen anytime. We would like to hear your opinions and suggestions, so please direct your comments to dtm@artistking.org. The Artist King Podcast is available on iTunes, Spreaker.com, Stitcher Radio, and ArtistKingArchive.com. This week we have James Eugene. He is a 20-year art biz veteran and instructor. Check out more of his work at www.neoartstyle.com and find him on Instagram and Twitter under ArtistJim114. James Eugene will share some insight into what separates commercial versus personal art and how he keeps it together in his career. Remember that every month, Artist King will be giving away a 1-hour consultation with an art business mentor and a business coach at Azalea Creative in Inman Park. June's winner is on his way to identifying ways to reach our business goals. What about you? To be eligible, artists must be an Artist King email subscriber. Visit www.artistking.org and subscribe now to get a chance to be one of those artists, plus receive updates on upcoming events, classes, meetups, workshops, and resources available to artists of all levels. The Artist King Podcast made possible by generous sponsors: the law offices of Deborah Gonzalez Esquire, VelocityScreenPrint.net, RevolveSkate.com, OHub at Giant, SouthSide Sickest, Mex Manny Beats, the Biz Garage, SuperNova South, HonestCon.com, and Denominator Graphics is in partnership with Lucan.com, focusing on websites for artists at a reduced rate. Check ArtistKing.org for details. Now on to our artist tips with James Eugene.
My name is James Eugene, and I am a digital artist, fine artist, painter, and I could actually say that I am these things because I've actually worked and created things in all those industries, like professionally, for years, over 25 years, So I know that there's a big difference, but you can find your niche. And some people, like me, are trying to actually do all of them still, all at the same time. Some people don't. Matter of fact, a lot of people don't. But it's just the way I was. It's just the way I was trained that I could. I just feel like I have things to offer in each one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what's the difference between an illustrator and a painter, or an illustration and a painting?
Well, the biggest difference, and it's something I've fought with my entire life. Well, the funny thing is, with the way the fine art world has been going, there's been a lot of illustrators who've just started becoming just fine art painters, and you can see that. You can see that with a lot of like high fructose things and lowbrow art and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You could see that they have illustration skills, but the difference is the painting is you're marketing what you do. You are marketing your soul. You are marketing your concept.
Mm-hmm.
When you do illustration, you're doing what Coca-Cola wants you to do. You're doing what Apple wants you to do, what Pepsi, and that's the biggest difference. That, sometimes you don't want to do. Sometimes you don't believe in the brand that you're doing the illustration for. And that's the difference between a fine artist and illustrator. Because fine artists, you're always going to believe in your art and what you're doing. It's your thing. It's not for a commercial.
The emotion comes out when it goes in the fine art and in painting.
Absolutely.
But in illustration, the emotion goes in.
Because you're creating something for them to draw you into the illustration, into the corporation that you're creating it for. And that's the huge difference. That's it right there. Because some of these corporations, they know what they're doing. They give you specifically what to do. I mean, specific down to the color.
Yeah.
And they test it, and then they send it back to you to redo it to the exact colors, the hue, the day or night, where it's at, the scene around in the background. Is it a spot illustration where it's just a figure, or is it a full bleed illustration where it's all these things make a huge difference. And That's why it's always been. After a while, I get tired of illustration, and then I go on my own and do my own thing, which is an illustration because it's really it's all of my concepts being illustrated for people who would want to see all my concepts. So it's just like turn the marketing in on myself.
For those who want to follow your story, they want to see the.
But really, if you think of fine art, that's all art is. People want to follow your story. I mean, they want to follow Frida Kahlo's story. That's why she's popular, right? Like, they want to follow these people. They want to follow Andy Warhol's story. His story and his art all goes hand in hand. And that's kind of what's funny about pop art, which has a little influence in my art, because that's how I grew up. We grew up very commercialized areas, you know, commercial centers of this country. LA, New York. And so you're gonna understand that to convey to people, you have to almost have it almost like a commercial. But it's not. It's really you're influencing with what you intend the viewer to have, and that's what makes it different. Some people could jump the line. I skirt the line all the time. I do digital. I do stuff for commercial businesses, but I've been doing more stuff that really matches my art lately.
I was gonna say that the messages that when you do the illustration, when you do a commission, when you do for hire, the work you're doing falls in line with the stuff that you already support.
And the thing is, that's why they're coming to me because of that. Like, I'm not gonna do something for the NRA, but you know, sometimes I create advanced. I draw advanced weapons and this and that, but I'm not gonna do something for the NRA because that's just I just don't believe in that them. So
unless they give you a big sack of cash,
and even then you really have to go. Well, am I gonna be? Am I gonna be? No, because it does follow you, and these are the things that fine art don't have to worry about. I mean, Lucifer himself could buy your painting, but he'd be like, "Hey, somebody likes my painting," but if you know what I mean, if one of these jerks, these right-wing lunatics buy your painting, I mean, they commission you to do specific illustration, you know, like Donald Trump, his racist self, you know, you'd be like, am I gonna do something for this racist jerk or not? And
that's when you do the ghostwriting. Change the name, like writers be going.
And you know what's funny? Illustrators do it all the time, including me. Sometimes some things you don't even put your name on it. But the thing is, your style, when you become good, they know who you are. You don't have to put nothing. You can't escape. I can't escape. They're like, you did it. Even if you try, they be like, well, you did it. Like, I guess.
Can't prove it.
I know, right? What's his name?
Send us feedback to dtm@artistking.org and subscribe to the Artist King podcast on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Spreaker.com, or ArtistKingArchive.com. This has been your Artist King podcast, and I am DTM of DeltaTangoMike.com, telling you to get out and learn so you can earn. Let go of the starving artist title and move into the thriving artist art life. See you next week.